Welcome to the debate. Today we're looking at a company called ALAND in its really effective model for connecting real estate developers in the UAE with European investors. The results are impressive, but it leads to our central question. What is the most critical element driving this success? Is it the innovative data-driven conversion workflow? Or is it the exclusive, high-value strategic curation and legal structuring? I'm going to argue that the technical sales funnel is the primary engine here.
And I think that fundamentally misdiagnoses who their audience is. I hold that the conversion rate is simply a result, not the cause. The real value, the thing that makes it all work, is that high-touch, controlled market access and, crucially, the legal and residency advisory they package with it.
Well, for me, the core advantage is just speed and efficacy. ALAND doesn't just, host an event. They inject a technical velocity into what is a typically very sluggish sales cycle. Their system uses a simple QR check-in to link attendees to a digital identity, which then enables what they call offline pixel marketing. This means we can retarget someone on LinkedIn based on their physical presence at an event. It's a game changer. And most critically, that 72-hour conversion sprint right after the event, well, that's designed to move qualified leads to a signed sales and purchase agreement, an SPA, before all that momentum is lost. That technical discipline is what yields a consistent 5 to 10% conversion rate.
See, I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that the sprint is the cause. I think you're mistaking the finish line for the starting gun. A 72-hour sprint is useless unless you have pre-qualified marathon runners ready at the start. The real leverage here is in their audience engineering. They use a very strict qualification matrix to ensure it's only ultra-affluent investors, family offices, people like that who even get in the door. But more importantly, the integration of the Golden Visa legal pack, that's the true differentiator. It elevates this whole thing from a marketing event into a genuine pathway for European residency in, say, Portugal or Greece. For a high net worth individual, that's not just a nice to have, that is indispensable value. It's what actually closes the deal.
Okay, I'll grant you that audience quality is foundational, but that quality is completely wasted without the velocity. I mean, traditional property events get high-quality audiences too, but they fail because of inertia. Without systematic digital follow-up through a CRM, through Telegram, and retargeting based on actual behavior like which brochure they browsed, those premium leads just poof, they dissipate. The developers are paying that flat 65 to 95,000 dirham fee for the technical execution that guarantees a signed contract, not just an RSVP list.
But that's where the financial model tells a completely different story, and I think this is key. The marketing fees, they're flat. The Pixel subscription is marginal. But at ALAND, they secure a 40 to 60% split on the Golden Visa and legal add-on revenue. That disproportionate financial split, well, it confirms that the high-margin, bespoke legal and immigration structuring is the irreplaceable driver of their profit. The Pixel system supports the sale, sure, but the legal pack completes the investor's core motive, residency and wealth protection.
That's a compelling point on the margin split, but I think you're confusing a very smart monetization strategy with the actual sales engine. The legal add-on only becomes relevant because the technical workflow successfully generates the initial sale. If that funnel fails to get a signature on the SPA, that 40 to 60% legal margin you mentioned is a percentage of zero. It's a brilliant lock-in, absolutely, but it's the technical execution that overcomes the hardest part, that initial transactional paralysis.
I just frame it differently. The promise of that legal certainty, the golden visa pathway, that's what makes the funnel work in the first place. Without that structural promise, the investor might never even engage long enough to trigger your digital follow-up. The strategy defines the audience, and the high-value structuring makes the commitment rational from the very beginning.
Ultimately, I believe the ALAND model is a success because it forces a sale through technical discipline, the 72-hour sprint, the data integration. That is something traditional events consistently fail to achieve.
And I'd argue its effectiveness is rooted in pre-sale control through that curation and post-sale structuring through residency incentives. These elements provide the core motivation for the investors, and just as importantly, they mitigate risk for the developers.
So both approaches really show the need for a fully integrated system, whether you see it as technology-led or, in your case, strategy-led, to bridge that UAE-Europe real estate market.
Exactly.
And there is certainly more to explore in how those two components, the tech and the strategy, interact to build that trust and drive these very high-ticket, cross-continental deals.